ShinRobjira.
Hamburger.
Shin, I could be happier with my life, Robjira here, and today I am going to be talking about the Bandai Spirits Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Mari, Rei, and Asuka figures. More so statues than figures. Believe it or not, these are my three very first Bandai Spirits purchases, so I'm very curious to see how they look out of the box and then some. So without further ado, let's get to talking about PVC figures. This is going to be a short video, I promise. Got him! And here we have them, our three leading Lady Ava pilots, Mari, Asuka, and Rei. Now, as much as I really just want to talk about Asuka first, I'm actually going to talk about Rei first. Not because of any kind of biases or anything, but mostly because Rei is the only character that I have a proper Sega figure of, and I really do want to do a bit of a comparison when it comes to paint and quality and all that other stuff. But before we do all of that, let's take a look at the boxes. Okay, on the one side of the boxes, we are going to see these promo images of the figures, and this honestly is probably going to be the way that I display the boxes whenever I get around to displaying them. I like that you essentially get a full-on look of the figure. They all look epic and awesome. They got all the little designs around them. It's great. It's just when you flip the boxes over to the opposite side, you get the side view of their heads, and then you get close-ups of their butts and chests. Cool, I guess. I mean, I guess that's one way to show off the detail, but in all honesty, there are many other places that you could possibly highlight that would definitely show off the amazing detail and paint apps that these figures have. But, I guess as they say, the sex sells. Taking a look at the back of the boxes, you're going to see each figure from a side view, and a big white box with ages 15 and up, Bluefin, Bandai Namco. This is all really, really cool. I like how they did that. I don't understand the purpose of the big white blank box, but again, very cool. And then on the fronts of the boxes, you are going to get images of each of the figures, including the obvious box color that is directly related to their color scheme, a soft blue for Rei, a dark red for Asuka, and a light and dark pink for Mari. I really do like the designs of these boxes. I find that they are very appealing, especially to the eye when it comes to the color, and when it comes to showing off what's exactly in the box. I just really don't understand the focus on the face, chest, and butt areas on the other side of the boxes. It just feels a little too eh. But anyway, let's get to talking about the figures now. So up first we have Rei, and a Sega version of Rei. Now, just looking at the two figures, there are a lot of differences here. When it comes to the hair, it is not sculpted in a translucent plastic like the Sega figure is. I do feel that the Sega figure in general, not so much in height, but everything else is just kind of, you know, bigger. The one thing that I will say when it comes to the Sega and Bandai Spirit figures is just that with the Sega figures, you're going to get some obvious seams, and you are going to see more than a few paint flubs on them, including areas that weren't painted. But I am not going to say that the Bandai Spirits version is exempt from that, because the Bandai Spirit version does have its share of flubs. But again, when going with a Sega figure, you are essentially just getting a UFO grab prize, but they are of great quality. That's not to say that the Bandai Spirit version isn't of great quality, but let's take a closer look. So if you've watched any of my previous Rei Ayanami reviews, you know that I just love when whatever company is making the figure goes all out with the hair, adding all kinds of different blues. This time around, it's more so of a whitish, lightish blue, and I really don't have a problem with that. I actually like it a lot because it definitely separates this figure from the rest, other than this being my very first black plug suit Rei Ayanami figure. When it comes to the application of the eyes and the eyebrows, these were done very smoothly, very nice, seamless, you could say. Looks like we got a bit of a paint bubble there on the hair. The headwear, hair clips, whatever you want to call them, I'm sure they have an official name. These are very nicely detailed and painted. You can see the red streak and the green thing right there, looking very nice. It's all in the same paint tone as the rest of the figure. You will, however, see some rough patches on the hair, some bumps, some grooves, some random air bubble looking things over here. I don't exactly know what to attribute that to, but as you can see here, there is a bit of a seam going on Rei's head over here. So like I said before, the Bandai Spirits line isn't entirely exempt from the same issues that Sega shares. Moving on further down, you can see all of the lovely paint application on Rei's shoulders, back, neck, and chest and everything. It's all very, very well done up here. There is going to be a couple of instances, especially over here, where you are going to see a bit of the paint bleeding through. So yeah, we have the 9 over here. We have that weird little orb eye at the center of Rei's chest over here. Moving on down, we're going to get these green streaks on the side of Rei's suit, and we're going to see more paint and more detail going along the suit as well. Lovely painted little rectangles. Again, the detail, the separation of this light grayish part to the dark blackish part is very, very nice, but you are going to see some wear and tear there. Now, mind you, this is just my copy. It might be a whole lot more different for others, but there are going to be issues you're going to run into. This doesn't count as an issue or anything, but I just love that they painted the back of Rei's hand, even though it's mostly obscured by her arm. Moving on down to the other hand, though, as you can see, there's some flubbed paint, and unfortunately, that is not the last of the flubbed paint on this figure, but in all honesty, when I first got this out of the box, I don't think I really noticed it, so we're all good. So over here, we see the center zipper looking thing. We got some black streaks over here by Rei's hips. Those black streaks are going to follow out through the back onto her butt, onto her thighs and legs. Does look really, really cool. And here is where we run into yet another issue. Just look at that smudge. Like, what were you trying to do over here, fam? Like, I don't know if that's a painting thing or if that's a sculpting thing, but that's pretty bad. That's pretty dang bad. Now, moving the figure along, we are going to see a couple more of those random splotches, both over here on the thigh and over here on the knee, and a little bit on this knee as well. I don't know if that's just paint drip or what, but it is present on the figure, and it was a little upsetting to see when finally taking a closer look at the figure. But moving on down to Rei's feet, the little lines are painted in red and are mostly very well done, not entirely well done, as you're going to see here. There is some dribble, but for the most part, despite some dribble going on over here, they are painted fairly nicely, and, you know, gets the point across. There is no detail on the bottom of the feet, however. They are painted, and on the clear stands on all of these, you are going to get, I believe, Shin Evangelion Thrice Upon a Time, that's what it might say. These are fairly nice clear stands with peg holes on them. So when it comes to this release of Rei Ayanami from Bandai Spirits, I'm very happy to finally have a black plug suit Rei Ayanami figure in my collection. But when it comes to the other two figures released for this line, I definitely would say Rei is the weakest of the two. So let us move on now to Mari. Now, you might not have noticed this when I was talking about Rei, but Bandai Spirits absolutely captured her personality in the fact that she is very closed off, very shy and everything. And when it comes to Mari, though, look, she's standing very confidently, she's got a thumbs up going, and when it comes to her face, if this isn't 100% of Mari's character, I don't know what is. I love how the red glasses were handled. Again, the eyes and the eyebrows seem perfectly on point. Maybe the glasses are a little too high, or maybe I'm just looking a little too far into it. The paint on the mouth to separate the lips from one another is very, very well done. And for the most part, again, they absolutely nailed Mari's personality. We've got the headband, we've got the two hair pieces on either side painted to such an extent, and we have Mari's pigtails. Now, for those who don't know, this pigtail actually came broken out of the box. Here's some footage. That was very unfortunate. So if you see this video and you feel like you want this Mari figure, be careful, be prepared for the worst, because I had to super glue this thing back on. I don't even know if you could even tell, but yeah, that was a bit of an upset. But the ties on her pigtails are done fairly nicely. And for the most part, the hair is just this very bland brown. That's all it really needs to be. I do feel Sega making the hair translucent really did bring a different quality to their figures. But anyway, you are going to see some very nice application of paints all along this figure. I don't know what's going on here though. Maybe I should bring it a little bit closer. There's a lot of paint bubbles going on here. I don't know if these figures are baked or to whatever extent. Mari is the only one that I've seen thus far that really has like this bad of like, you know, paint bubbles and such. So I guess if you're getting these, again, be on the lookout for those. But the good news is when it comes to the rest of Mari's arm, everything looks great. A big thumbs up. That line could have been painted a little bit better. There's a little bit of a fade going on there. When it comes to the other side of Mari's hand, I do feel they could have painted that a little bit better, but I'm not complaining. The rest of the wrist over here is painted fairly nicely, as is the rest of the arm. Oh wow, I didn't even notice that. She's got little eyelashes on the bottoms of her eyes. Look at that. Wow. Go figure. I was mainly just doing this to show off the red on her shoulder blades. Very nice. We've got blue and the darker shade of pink. We've got the 8 on Mari's chest over here. Now, I don't know what's going on up here. There appears to be a bit of a glue issue. It almost looks like the hair could have been glued to this part of Mari's chest, which when you look at the box, which we already have done, you really don't see the hair coming across over here that much. So I wonder what that's all about. I don't know. And again, you're going to get some more of that weird, like, smudgy paint, bubbly looking stuff over here on Mari's arm. Again, I really don't know what's going on there, but it's a thing. And then we have the rest of Mari's chest, the number 8. We've got these things along the side. We've got the eye at the center of Mari's chest. You can see her belly button, showing off just how tight these suits are, I guess. Looking at the hand, we have those painted and sculpted in lines on Mari's arm and on her wrist, and I guess there's really no sense in trying to ignore the fact that this is Mari's butt. There are going to be black lines going along her hips, along her butt, along the sides of her legs over here. Really do like how those wrap around, and you're going to get a lot of really great details over here as well. And of course, all those move down into the crotch and onto the knees, and these were painted very nicely. I like that the paint is a lot more solid this time around. Nothing on the back of the legs. And then you're going to see the black squares on the tops of Mari's feet. She doesn't have any streaks on the bottom of her feet like Ray did, and it just overall looks very nice. Yet again, the bottom of Mari's feet are painted, no details there. And I don't know if I mentioned it with Ray, but I really do love the sculpted in child numbers on here and how they're filled in. They're filled in very nicely, and they just look really great. These two squares over here, though, not painted the best. So like I said before, I definitely believe Bandai Spirits 100% captured Mari's personality perfectly. She's standing tall, she is standing confidently, she's giving us a thumbs up. It looks really great. It's just the paint in some areas is a little funky, and the weird bubbling effect from whatever that is from, it's a little off-putting. But then again, you have weird paint stains like this on the back of Ray's Sega figure, so I guess I really can't be complaining too much. But anyway, let's get to the star of this show. Let's get to the one figure that I truly believe is absolutely perfect, that being Asuka. Standing tall and proud with her long legs, her hands on her hips, very standoffish looking look on her face, eye patch included. I definitely feel Asuka was the best represented out of this set. And when it comes to just how the figure looks, how it commands such an amazing shelf presence, and how it was painted, I would definitely say, yes, this is the best figure of the bunch, including my favorite. But the figure does have flaws. Tiny flaws. So as we can see, Asuka's eye and lines that are going on over here and eyebrow, they look fantastic for what you can see through all of that hair. But what you are going to see here is that there is an imbalance of paint on Asuka's mouth. This one part over here looks like it was slightly skimped upon when it comes to that darker tone. A little upsetting, nothing crazy. And when turning the figure to the side, you are going to see that Asuka's eye patch is more so going through her earlobe instead of under her earlobe. I consider this a bit more of an issue just because when you look at the back of the box, you can see, yeah, the thing goes under her ear, and on the figure it goes through her ear. Yeah, don't know why that was done. But for the most part, those are my only complaints with this figure. I just love how glossy it looks. I love how bad Asuka looks, and I have to, dude, like the hair. This is some primo sculpted hair. It's shaded perfectly. It looks great. And the little pigtail things going on up here that all the Eva pilots are using. I don't know their official name. Somebody correct me in the comment section down below. They just look awesome. Perfectly painted all the way around, and it holds Asuka's hair together so perfectly. Like, oh, that looks awesome. So as you can see, you're going to get a plethora of colors on Asuka over here. We've got green on the shoulders, blue on the neck, random blue patch over here on her chest, the number 2, a little triangle going on over here. This is black, this is blue. It's supposed to be like that. That's how it looks on the box. I don't know about kinetically. I haven't watched 3.0 in a very long time. But again, fantastic detail. You're going to get fantastic paint on this as well. And I'm so glad they gave Asuka this shiny finish, because again, it just adds to that shelf presence she's going to have and that she's going to demand as well. Plus, just look at how brilliantly sculpted her hands are. It's so perfect. Even on the back end, how her thumbs just rest on her hips. Honestly perfect. And then as you can see over here, we've got the number 2 on Asuka's back. Little bit of a paint smudge over there. A little bit of a paint smudge over here as well, but nothing too bad. And then much like Mari, you're going to get more of those black stripes going down Asuka's thighs, onto her butt, through her knees. And again, you're going to get more of that lovingly applied panel lining over here. I guess we can call these things panels. They're not really panels because these plug suits are so organic. But yeah, they're painted perfectly all the way through. And even on Asuka's feet over here, you're going to see the 3 rectangles over here just painted so perfectly. No issues whatsoever. And then on the bottom of Asuka's feet, Asuka's actually the only one that has details on the bottom of her feet. Like, look at that. Well, this one. You will get it on the other foot as well, but just based on how Asuka's standing over here, you're not really going to see it too much through the stand. And Asuka actually has the biggest stand, probably because she's standing so tall and out of tension. But yeah, Shin Evangelion, thrice upon a time, maybe. I could be wrong. Again, I think Bandai Spirits absolutely nailed Asuka, and I do think she is the best, even with those minor flaws. They captured her personality. She's got the bad HBIC look in her face. She's standing tall, hands on the hips, and she just looks the best, and the hair absolutely adds to it as well. Very dramatic, just like Asuka. So when it comes to comparing the Bandai Spirits Asuka and the Sega Asuka, they're really not too close in tier of quality than the Sega Ray and the Bandai Ray were, but even for the lower quality of the Sega Asuka figure, you do get a lot of really great detail and paint. You get the fantastic paint and detail on the bolts, something that the variant suit used for the Bandai Spirits Asuka doesn't even have. You do get pretty dang good shading on the hair despite a couple ugly seams, and the eyes, the eyebrows, and the mouth are all perfectly painted and applied. More so applied than painted. Sure, you'll get some shiny glue streaks and a couple of missteps on the paint, but for the most part, I really can't call either one better than the other, especially when they're this different. So for the most part, I would definitely call the Bandai Spirits Mari, Asuka, and Rei set pretty damn good. I love the way these things look. I love that they're around the same height as a Sega figure, and even with their flaws, I really enjoy the paint apps as well. I do wish that Rei and Mari got a little bit more of that gloss that Asuka got to help them really pop when it comes to the shelf. Mari's going to pop out when it comes to my collection overall because she's the pinkest thing there, but when it comes to Rei, I can definitely see her fading into the background, especially since my shelves are black. I do wish that she at least got shined up a little bit more, but I really do have to sing my praises for Bandai Spirits Asuka. If anything, I'll buy exclusively Bandai Spirits for Asuka because again, the flowing hair, the look on her face, the nailing of the personality, the tall, very tough and strong stance that she has, it's just so her. Same thing could be said for Mari. Rei, you know, shy and reserved and everything, that's Rei, but Asuka is 100% the most impressive figure from this little set, and again, my absolute favorite for this. So I guess now we can cut back to my face and end this all off. I really do like what Bandai Spirits did with these 3 releases, and I really do want to track down that original Eva 1 release, but I can't find it anywhere. Anybody please help? And as much as I really do love these figures, flaws and all, I think I am going to stick with Sega for the most part though. They are much cheaper, they are much easier to come across, and the aftermarket on the Sega releases aren't too bad. Bandai Spirits, completely different story. But anyway, I've been ShinRobjira. Patrons, thank you all so very much for becoming a ShinRobjira patron. If you would like to check out my Patreon page, it'll be linked down below. And then over there, we got some social media that you can all check out for free-ish. Yeah. I will see you all next time, which might actually be this week. Like I said, I am working on another video right now. Well, not right now, but yeah, you get it. And please let me know if you enjoyed this video. I got more anime figures to talk about, and if you want me to make solo reviews for them, I will. Until next time, everybody, I will see you all there. Yes. That is not a clue as to what I am talking about next, I promise you. Bye!